Has Rishi Sunak lost the Conservatives?
Well, I think it's interesting, isn't it? The conference you mentioned, and indeed the Conservative Democratic Organisation conference earlier. These are MPs, senior people in the Conservative Party who they're not quite an open rebellion, but they're certainly agitating. And I think, as you said in your intro, they're very much looking to what may happen with the leadership after the 2024 general election.
Well, I get countless emails to this programme from viewers and listeners saying that I'm a former Conservative voter, but I feel politically homeless. They're now quite invested in other alternatives, like Reform UK, led by Richard Tice. How does Rishi Sunak fix this? Because at the moment, his movement seems to be fragmenting somewhat.
I think that's absolutely right. And I'm enough of a historian to know that there's one very true adage in politics, which is divided parties don't win elections. And Rishi, I think, has had a huge problem in the fact that he hasn't really got any kind of mandate. He hasn't got a mandate from the membership. Obviously, they voted against him, indeed. And also with the local elections results, he hasn't got a mandate from the people either. And mandates is really where I think political power springs from. So it's very, very difficult, I think, for him to then bring people together, bring the backbench of the party together, because, as you say, they're looking down the barrel at a possible defeat at the next general election and who's going to replace him.
Yes, now your brilliant book about Churchill profiles his great leadership, his great vision, his great intellect. Does Sunak have any of that? Is this guy being underestimated potentially?
Well, I think that a bit like Churchill, of course, Rishi did come to the prime ministerialship at a time of national crisis, not quite as severe, obviously, as June 1940, but nevertheless a serious one.
He's inherited a bit of a mess.
He has inherited a bit of a mess, that's true. I'm not sure he quite has the leadership skills to put it right, though, as Churchill did. I think his response to the poor local election results has been very weak. I think he almost seems to be hiding from the public, from his own party. And I don't think he has really, to be honest, the charisma and the kind of intellectual heft to pull the party through.
He's something of a technocrat, isn't he? And he's all about delivery, but that may not be enough in a year's time when he goes to the country.
I think that's quite right. And I think that what we've seen this week with the various conferences is the Conservative Party looking for a way to renew itself. And I think it's very revealing that Rishi Sunak isn't really involved in those discussions. What we have is, attempts to find a new purpose, I think, for the Conservative Party, what it's looking to conserve. The Conservative Party historically is very good at renewing itself and evolving. That's why the Tories have won lots of elections over the last 200 years. And I think it's very interesting that Rishi isn't involved in those discussions and the party doesn't seem to think that he has a future in them.
Yes.